Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Jay and Nicole's Learning Lab podcast. Today, we're going to continue our new approach. We'll just have a conversation, nothing specific, even though we both have a few things that we may talk about. Um, this week, I want to start off with something. Well, go ahead, Nicole. You go first. You go first.
Go first with what?
Whatever you're going to say. All right, never mind. I'll go.
No, I,
I got it.
I actually am really enjoying this that we're getting back to basically our roots when we first
Mhm.
started. I think this is a lot more fun and
Right.
entertaining and interesting.
And not as
Um,
time consuming.
yeah, we all have lives, right?
Right.
And I find this as a really cool and fun outlet, and I hope people find it interesting. It was really cool when we had that one guy respond to that amazing talker one we did. I
Right.
thought that was super
Right.
cool. We got this review where the guy said, "Thank you so much for the amazing talker podcast we did, and we reviewed the onboarding process."
Hmm.
So if you guys have like things like that you're interested in, just let us know. I don't mind,
Yeah.
being the test monkey.
Right. Right.
Uh, that reminds me, I still have to. I still need to finish that native camp. I never did the. I'm approved, but I never did the video. What was it called?
Onboarding.
The interview that they do, the demo class. There you go.
Oh,
That's what it is.
okay.
You can tell it's been a while since I've had to do one of those.
Do they do a
Uh
demo class with no student in there, or do they give you a fake? I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
oh, and it gets even worse. Like the reason why I haven't done it yet is apparently you're supposed to just click the button that you're ready, and
Hmm.
then you just sit there for like this. It's kind of like waiting for Comcast to show up
Hmm.
or PLDT if you're in the Philippines. It's kind of like an all day. You just kind of sit there and they randomly, whenever you queue, you queue. So hopefully not a lot of people are queuing that day.
So you have to click the "I'm ready for the demo" button, and you have to wait for somebody to come in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. I mean, at least you have a real person in there. I hate doing the demos where there's no student.
Oh, yeah, that was the other one. I think Cambly does that, or I think Cambly does that, right? Don't they do that?
Palfish. Palfish
Yeah.
did it. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Yeah, this one you have to actually wait for somebody and then you do it and they give you like this sample lesson to practice and then they're gonna give you one on the fly. So I gotta redo the thing and try it out and
Hmm.
then I'll let people know how it works.
Right. Right.
But
Um,
you had something very interesting that I actually think people are gonna really want to know about.
yeah, I learned something this week now. For I don't know how long, I have always paid for Zoom. Always paid for it. I don't pay for it anymore.
Hmm?
And one of my students from China, this is China specific, couldn't get into the Zoom class. I've been teaching them on Zoom forever, forever. But I just stopped paying for it.
Oh,
I just
that
stopped
explains
paying.
something for me.
Right. He and that happened last week, and then again, well, it happened 2 weeks ago, and then again last week. He couldn't get in, so I just moved him over to Teams. But last week, he actually sent me the error. And there's a bunch of Chinese language on the screenshot too. I have no idea what it reads, but I translated it, and then I looked up the error code, and all of a sudden, it makes sense why people say Zoom doesn't work in
Doesn't work
China.
in China.
Because if both people are using a free Zoom account, people in China have a hard problem unless the student is using a VPN. If they're using a VPN, it's not a problem. And as soon as she turned on her VPN, we were in business. We were in business, not a problem. So that explained a lot to me. I had never considered anything like that. Why does a
Well,
paid
what
account matter?
you had shown me something. What did that say? Do you still have that? I think you had shown me what it said where like they did something with the free accounts. What was it that you had
Yeah,
sent
the
me?
free accounts don't work. One of you has to have a paid account in China. One of you
It's
has to
almost like
have that.
they're blocking it. And see, I stopped
Right.
paying for Zoom as well. Zoom was getting super bloated, laggy,
Mhm.
having issues, even with my network. Like it was just wasn't worth it for me anymore.
Mhm.
And then they were super expensive, right? I mean, they're the price keeps going up and up and up, and I'm like, well, Teams
Right.
does the exact same thing, and I'm paying a fraction of the price. So, you know,
Right.
and it works in China without all the hoopla, right?
Nothing required, no VPNs. It just works because a lot of companies in China use it.
Well,
A
Microsoft
lot of
works. I mean, like everything Microsoft
right,
works, and this is technically under that umbrella. So,
right.
um, and also, well, Zoom has too much Google integrations, and anything that has too much Google integration just doesn't work well in China at all.
Well, and there's no Google integration with Teams.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the big things. In case people were wondering why certain things don't work, sometimes certain applications, if you remove the Google integration, it starts working. I found this
Yeah.
out the hard way.
But Class N works with the Google integration.
Which is
And
weird, but I think that's
that's a
because
Chinese product.
it's a Chinese product. I think that's why.
And who knows? Who knows? But
Class in
anyways,
is like a
if
workhorse.
if you have students in China that say Zoom doesn't work, I actually believe them now. And I know
Yeah.
why, because you're both using a free account. Pay for a Zoom account and see, or switch over to Teams. You're going to get pushback right away on Teams. Oh my gosh, I don't know it. It's not WeChat, but Teams works. They can have it for free, and it has never been a problem for me. One student did try telling me she couldn't download it, and I'm like, "Man, it's Microsoft. Of course you can download
Right.
it."
Well, I mean, like, let alone the fact, can't you like Zoom, if I remember right, if you're not the host, you can do the web-based version just like Zoom.
I think you can do it anyways.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I just said
there.
fine. We'll just use 10 cent. I don't. It doesn't matter to me. Just and I will say 10 cent and the Notion transcription is still a no go. It causes a lot of audio problems, and you hear like half of what they say. As soon as you turn off the Notion transcription, it's fine. Do you have that problem with Letterly on 10 cent, or do you not do
I
that
can't
with any?
even get Letterly to work at all with the M.4 now. So, M4, I'm sorry, M.4. I'm used to the M.2, the drive, sorry.
Mhm,
Um, the M4, I cannot get Letterly to connect at all. I was using Loopback because
mhm,
the Mac has like settings that you can't use. When I was using the Loopback on the M2, I could get it to work. But everybody complained about the audio. And remember, you had told me when I turned it off because I didn't believe them. I'm like, this, what are you talking about? But I had done it with you, and then when
mhm.
I turned it off, you were like, oh yeah, there's a difference because I had created a
Right,
class in account for us to
right.
do a class in. So class in is actually also blocking some of those integrations. I haven't tried it with the Notion though.
Right. Notion, I can tell you works, but I have problems with 10 cent when I use Notion. And
10 cent, I've never been able to. It would lag so bad and cut, 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 cut.
it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It was still bad
For
though.
well, that was also when I was having other issues too. But
Right,
it did have problems. And people would always say they can't hear me. Like my
right,
my audio would go out a lot, which was
right.
weird. So I think that's more of a back end thing. Um, I will say with class in, um, because the videos are not rendered on my computer, they're immediately available for me
Mhm.
right after class. So I just pop them into Letterly and off I go. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Um,
And with Teams too, it's great. The recording drops the right. So for me, the students I teach on Teams, I give them each their own link. That I don't really
I do
like.
also. I love that.
Uh, well, because those links disappear after some time. So you have to search, you have to do a search for them, and then go into the chat and just click join. Um, they do disappear after some time. That you can't see them on the meetings tab.
Meeting
Um,
links.
Yeah, you can't see them in the meeting links after
Ah, I go
but you just do
to.
a search. You just do a search for their name and you find it.
Are you talking about in the chats, or are you talking about in the where it says the Meet tab? Meet, like the one with the
Yeah,
video icon.
the meetings tab.
Okay, I haven't had this problem because I created separate ones and it says view all, and I can actually
Yeah, if I
see the
click
list.
meeting links, some of my older ones, the original students, their links are no longer visible there. But yeah, I can find them in the chat. I can find them in the
Oh,
chat.
okay. All right. But I put a copy also into each one of my students' memo center, so that's how
Mhm.
they connect anyways. But okay, well, good to know. I haven't had that problem yet, but
Yeah.
I like that you can create the meeting link. I did that in Zoom also, and it made it really nice because, fun fact with with Meets, don't give them your general link because then everybody's going to know when you've joined class, and everybody else is going to want to join class, and they're going to see all your messages and all
That
your videos.
that's the one advantage Zoom has. I can create one link and everybody has the same link. I do like that. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. But um uh the it's kind of a I wish I could do it like Zoom, but I also like that each student has their own individual chat in Teams.
Well, and in a way, that would work really well for teachers if they wanted to consolidate their students all into
Mm,
one app instead of having like WeChat, Line, Messenger, WhatsApp. Like they could actually technically move everybody
yep.
into Teams and then just have like a group chat for your all your students and then
You
have your
know,
individual chats for their
I
classroom.
thought about doing that, putting all my students in one big group chat and
I
decided
do.
against it. You know why? Because I don't want the parents talking to each other because they don't all pay the same price.
My students all know they don't pay the same price. They all know that.
Yeah, I didn't want them in there.
But I like it because I do like group notices and things like
Mhm,
that. So I have like one big when I got COVID, I was off for a couple months and I had
mhm,
other teachers take over for me and I had to put everybody into one big massive group and I just kind of
right,
kept it and they like it.
right.
But yeah, I mean it's like it is nice and oh, and then if you do videos, you no longer have to separately load videos into like a Google Drive or I use
Right, it
YouTube
drops them right
actually.
in the chat.
It drops them right in the chat and they automatically delete after
Right.
like a certain amount of time. So it's like a no hassle way, like, hey, if you want your video, there you go. You know, like you don't even do anything. And then if you paired that with Notion with the memos, you have a summary and you don't even do anything.
Doesn't Teams do a transcription if you tell it to as well?
I think there might be somewhere, but it's not going to create the memo unless you do something extra.
Right. Well, yeah, you still have to create that all yourself. Yeah, I thought it created a transcription. I haven't looked for it, to be
But
honest,
I
if
don't
I
need the
have.
transcription when you have
Right.
letterly, you just drop the video in and it does it all
Mhm,
for you.
right.
But it's nice though because like I said, a lot of things would be integrated then and you would, less to do, right?
Right.
Um, so anyways, but the Zoom thing. Yeah, that explained a lot when I dropped Zoom.
Yeah.
Although Zoom still hasn't figured out my account yet, but still. Um,
What?
let's just say I won that dispute with PayPal.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Zoom can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Um, but anyways. Oh, does that mean I get to mention my Skynet?
Come on. I mean, it's
Can I mention
it's
Skynet?
Starlink, not Skynet, by the
No,
way.
we call it Skynet.
I know.
Anyways, I know. Okay, so when Skynet is Starlink. We
Right.
call it Skynet, and if you're of the
From
generation, you
right.
know.
You know, you know. I'm
Right?
not going to explain
So
it.
and it's that app is scary. I'll start with that. There's a Starlink app. And I'm pretty savvy when it comes to like, AI and things like that. That app actually got me. It took
Mhm,
me the longest time to figure out that that was an AI bot talking to me.
right.
And it wasn't until one small phrase at the end of the conversation I was like, "Wait a minute. Are you not a person?" Cuz in the past, it was always a person that responded. They never had the AI bot, and they do now. So you have to be careful with it. It's like called, oh, I forget the name. I'd have to look it up. Anyways, Starlink, Skynet, Starlink. So I have it. I live out in the middle of, man. Can we cuss on our podcast?
I don't care.
I live out in buttfuck Egypt. Okay, I live out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and I was supposed to have fiber. We'll talk about that saga another day. Let's just say I technically have fiber and the satellite outdoes the fiber, which tells you how good the fiber is because that should never happen. Um, so I was one of the first people actually to get Starlink. I was on the waiting list in the Philippines, so it finally showed up for me a couple years ago. And I had the Gen 2, which has the actuated disc, so it's the disc that moves, right? And I had some issues with it. They helped me out, and I put it up here. I have it up on like a 40-foot pole out in my field because I'm on a farm, and it stopped working. It kept resetting nonstop. It would just keep resetting, and I was losing clients because I couldn't get a good connection with my fiber. I couldn't. So I messaged them and I'm like, "Hey, listen, this is my company. This is my business. I really need this to work. What's going on?" They did some back end. I had my logs and they checked all my logs. They sent me two actually brand new dishes free of charge. Like no cost for the dish, no cost for the shipping. I gave them my address and they sent me out a brand new one, generation 3. Then I realized that they didn't technically enter in my address correctly. The barangay was off by one
Mm-hmm.
barangay. I just told them, "Hey, I'm just letting you know, just so it's on record here in the app. It'll still get to me, but it's going to take a little longer." They sent me a second one just to make sure I got it. Like seriously, I'm not kidding. So I ended up with two Starlink dishes. And then it took me about 2 months to set it up because it's on a 40-foot pole. So I have to get people to
Mm-hmm.
come out and take it down and re-cement in another pole. And it's a
Okay.
process. It was a process. But I put that thing back up. I got it. The return shipping was free ish. It was free on their end. I live in the middle of nowhere. I had to travel to the next city to get a place to take it. But and since I've had that thing up, I have been rocking my classes. I have not used my fiber to teach in at least 3 months. I even now, I'm on Starlink. I'm like, the only difference is if the power goes out, it's an actual three-prong plug and I can't use like, you know, the little thingamajigger for
Mm-hmm.
the backup. So I have an actual power bank for it because
That was
it's
the actual
powering.
technical term, the thingamajigger, right?
Yeah, I know the thingamajigger. Yep, that's
You
the
went
one we
to you
talked
went
about
to the
last time.
store and said, "I need a thingamajigger," and they knew
Pretty
exactly what you
much,
meant.
exactly, perfectly. Because we are in the Philippines, though. I could have used my lips and went. "Ugh."
Right. I need that over there.
The thing that does the thing, in the thing.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it worked. It works great. I've been completely rocking. I did. I still use my fiber once in a while. It's for the rest of the house. I'm the only one that has the Starlink access, so I keep that only to me. I think I used my fiber once. There was a longer power outage, and my backup ran out, and I didn't want to turn on the generator. It
Mhm.
was like for one class, and boy, did it suck. I know immediately when I'm on fiber. The
Mhm.
packet loss is like, it's usually at 0. I get up to maybe 3 or
You
4%
know,
at like bad times.
we have the same internet. Well, we both have PLDT for regular internet, and I have had the exact opposite experience with PLDT, and I've had them for 12 years.
Yeah, see, I have the worst connection. Even when I was in the subdivision before I moved out to the farm,
Mhm.
like my packet loss. See, that's what people don't understand. It's not always the latency. See, um those apps that tell you like how fast your internet is and the latency and it looks so great. Yeah, go to the other apps that they won't tell you about that give you your packet loss and all the other metrics.
Mhm.
You can have really high latency. Now that's the difference with satellite. Satellite has a higher latency, right?
But
Um, but
I
my
actually
packet
looked
loss.
this. I looked this up the other day, and Starlink doesn't have the traditional latency that I've experienced with satellite internet. And that's because
the
these
orbit is lower.
satellites are much lower in the atmosphere. That's why. I
And
didn't
I
know that
haven't
they were.
really, yeah, they're very low orbit. They're
Right.
very low orbit. So the connection is pretty good. I'll get like 300 mbs, and I'll get down as low as around 100 and maybe 110, 112 if it's like super busy time, and that doesn't happen very often. I will say with the Gen 3, the dish was it was like minutely bigger, but it increased, I think about 30% the capture of the satellites.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, did I notice a difference on that? That did make a difference. Um, anyways, Starlink. Skynet is awesome. Not, but
Right.
Starlink is cool.
So,
Um, yeah, I loved it. It's really good. It's really made a difference.
um, yeah, I have never had a problem. I pay for a gigabit Ethernet and or network internet, whatever, and I get the full gigabit. Now, right now,
I had that, and remember, I downgraded, and my internet got better.
yeah, well, and right now I'm not even using. I'm just using Wi-Fi. I don't get the full gigabit on Wi-Fi. I have to plug in. Um, I'm just using Wi-Fi right now, but um, speed is not always the important thing
No,
because you don't even need 100 megabits to teach. 20 is enough. As long, I would always opt for a slower speed and a more stable connection than faster internet. Um,
not those speeds that I was quoting. Those are my downloads. My uploads are
right,
actually a lot lower, and I average between like 20 and 30 upload
that's
speed.
fine.
But I'll get as low as like 15,
I
12,
mean,
and I'm fine because my packet loss is zero. So it's connecting, no
right.
problems.
um, Now I've taught here in the Philippines on as low as 5 megabits.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was fine. It was fine, you know. But
DSL.
yeah, it was DSL. That was when I first got here. We couldn't get fiber where I lived.
Oh, they didn't even
Uh,
have fiber when I first came here. It was all DSL.
I remember when it came to the neighborhood, I already had PLDT, but the Globe guy comes, hey, we're offering fiber internet. If you sign up, we can install it today. Do it. Do it now. And
Yep.
I had it working. It was 50 meg. It was fine. It, it ran my laptop, my phone, my tablet, my wife's phone, her tablet, my
Mm.
son, my son's
I
tablet
remember
and
when I had
computer.
12, and that was like the fastest internet you
Right.
could get, and that was DSL.
Right.
12, that was like the fastest.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah.
Felt like
Um,
dial-up.
I was able to get it up to 15, but then
Hmm.
fiber rolled in shortly after. It was
I remember
fine.
I got up to 18 at one point, and then the fiber showed up, and we could get like, I think fiber started at something like 25 or something like that.
Hmm.
I think that was the like 25 and 50, I think is what it was. Those were the two options. And boy, did that feel like lightning fast compared to what we were doing before.
Yeah. I, I was so happy when that guy installed the fiber. I was like watching over him. Are you done
You
yet?
know why
Are you
I was
done yet?
happy about it is because of the power outages. See, when power goes out, fiber will still work if you have a backup to your router.
So will DSL.
No,
Yeah,
not
it
where I
uses the
live.
phone line. Well, here when we have power outages, the cell phone towers go down too.
I was
I
gonna say
never heard that
no,
before.
because all the junction boxes didn't have a booster. And so when the power went out, even when you powered up your router, DSL was still out.
Right.
Then again, the phone lines were out too, so there you go. You know, I'm like,
So,
I was like,
did you get any interest? I'm sorry, I just cut you off.
that's cool.
But
What up?
it's so if you, I'm trying to get us back to teaching. Um, I'm trying to direct traffic here. Did you get any new students this week?
No, I've lost another student, not lost a student, lost a couple time slots. So this
Hmm.
week I'm going to have to, so I'm going to have to put out my notice for the new adult program and the kid program that I created. So
Hmm.
I'm going to have to put out the notice for that. I do like those conversational podcast courses. So
Right,
I'm going to put out that. We were also talking about hitting up a new demographic, and
right.
I did have the potty bathroom conversation again this week. I've had it twice in 2 weeks. I don't understand what the deal is with this all of a sudden. For real. Seriously. But
Don't take
oh,
me to the toilet.
and right, I was like, instant class is over. I'm not coming back. I give one warning and then I will trust me when you end class and you refuse to come back, they learn that lesson real
Right.
fast. Um Oh, you know what? Yay me. I've had a couple students who have been really struggling with their English since I first started with them, who
Hmm.
have recently just soared in their comprehension and have come back with tests at 98 and 96 from school. So
Oh,
I was real
cool.
happy about that. Yeah, that was really cool. I was really happy about that. So that's
I
good.
uh,
You had an IELTS
I,
kid come back with something phenomenal recently, right?
oh, that was a couple months ago. I had a 14-year-old boy from China take the IELTS, and the only reason he was taking it, he goes to an expensive private school, and I think it's a challenge for his parents to handle the tuition.
Mm.
So he would get a scholarship if he scored well on the IELTS. Not only did he score well, he scored an eight. An eight.
That's pretty cool, man.
I've
That's
been
super
teaching
cool.
that kid for a long time. And the mom sent me a really nice message, and she said, you've been the most important English teacher
Oh.
he's ever had. I was, man, he's so cool. And he's at the point now where I don't really have to teach him anymore. It's more like talking about things that he likes. He loves Star Wars, which is rare for a kid in China. He loves Lord of the Rings, all the stuff that our age liked, you know.
Yeah.
So, and he knows way more about Star Wars than any one person should know. I mean, he knows he knows all about it. He knows all about it. But he's a really reserved kid. He's a really good kid, and I was really happy he scored that eight. Uh, I figured he would score because I only do speaking and writing with him. That's all I do. And I figure he would score a seven, is what I felt very comfortable. Well, he got like a 7.5 and a seven on his speaking and writing, but then he got a nine in either the reading or the listening. So he scored perfect in one of them, and then he got an 8.5 in the other. So I'm like, yeah.
Wow, but that's still really good. You know, I think parents really underestimate how much it validates and makes us, feel like the job is worth it with all
Mhm.
the stress when they tell us how much they appreciate us. Like that's usually not
Right.
what you hear. You usually hear a lot of negative, which is funny you mentioned that because I got one last night too. I had a parent talking to me, and I teach the sisters. One's
Mhm.
quite a bit older than the other one, and she had said the same thing. She had told me, I really appreciate you. You've taught me a lot about how to interact better with my kids, and I'm like, really? Cool. Thank you. Oh, that was nice. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. One of her daughters has a ADHD,
Mhm.
and my son did, and my sister did, and it's in my family, so we talked about that or something. But anyways, I think people really underestimate how much those words have power when we work so hard and they tell us
Right.
how much they appreciate us. I mean, it actually does make a difference. It makes us feel
Yeah.
like, you know what, it was worth it, you know?
Yeah. And I always, whenever they thank me for stuff like that, I always kind of deflect that back to the kid. And I'm like,
So do
he did
I.
all the work.
He did all the work.
Um,
Yeah, exactly.
and this is a kid during every summer holiday, every spring break or spring festival, he takes a 1 hour class with me every single day.
Yeah, he's one of those that does put in the work. I remember you always
Right.
talking about him. Like
Yep.
yeah, he earned that score. He put in the work.
And when and the mom only buys 10 classes at a time. and that's the most expensive way to buy from me is to buy 10 classes at it, or unless you buy one. Um,
Yeah, right.
and I offered her a really good deal last summer because I'm like, you're going to be paying me every week and a half. How about we just buy enough classes to last the
For the
summer,
month.
and I'll cut you a really good rate. And she said, no, we're more comfortable buying 10. Okay. I mean, it's not that they don't trust me at all because I've been teaching that kid for 5 years, four
Uh,
years, maybe 4 years, a long
exactly.
time. They know me. They know me. So, but this week, I picked up two new high school students. Um,
Oh, I do have a trial on Saturday. I forgot. Sorry. Keep going.
and they're they're cousins. I think, well, either they're cousins or their parents are cousins. I'm not really sure. Nobody can really articulate it to me. And they're both from Taiwan. And for those that don't
Gosh,
know,
I love that area for kids,
me
man, for
too, man.
students.
I do the
Best.
trial and I get all referrals. I do the trial, and we've already set up the schedule and how many classes they want before the trial's even over, and they always pay me immediately. There's like, I barely have time to log out of the class, and there's a payment waiting for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I'm getting the ding, ding, ding on my phone. I'm like, Jay's link.
but I got a new student, an adult, very interesting background. She's from China, very
Oh,
basic,
yeah.
basic level English. She was actually the silver medalist in the Tokyo Olympics for China in boxing.
Pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty. We did our first class today. She forgot about the one on Monday. I didn't charge
Oh,
her.
so she came in for this as a second one.
Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right.
I didn't charge her for the first one. I'm like, it's the first one. It's new. And I didn't send I part of it's on me because I usually send a reminder the day before when I get a new student. I didn't do that. I
Ah,
didn't think
okay.
about it.
Yeah, the
But
first
she's
class is when I give a reminder. After that, nope.
right. Yeah. But she's really cool. And I'm this is my second big time athlete I've taught from China. Several years ago, when I worked at 51 Talk, I taught at one point, she was the number two tennis player in the world, Li Na. I taught her for
Mm.
like 6 months. Probably one of the nicest people I've ever taught. Um,
Oh, nice.
so maybe I can start targeting elite athletes for English classes. I don't know how that would work. That just seems like such a difficult niche to target. I wouldn't even know how to
Ah,
attack it
right.
other
Exactly.
than getting referrals from my boxer. That's the only thing. And she was actually a referral from one of the WeChat students.
No joke.
Right, and I taught that mom's kid doesn't even take classes with me anymore. He was one of those 3 or 4 year olds says this is too much. But I did like 20 or 30 classes with them, but she still sends me referrals all the time. So um um and and that that kid's dad. I sent you a picture of him before. He's got the really long like rocker
Yeah.
hair,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he doesn't really look Chinese to me. He does
No,
not
we
look
don't.
Chinese, but he's Chinese. But then I learned a little bit more about him. Yeah, he lived in the US for quite a while. He went to university in the US. He works for a US company, um, one of these big consulting companies. I can't remember which one. But yeah, so yeah, I got her. We'll see how it goes. Very basic level English. Like I had to tell her to just send me messages on WeChat in Chinese and let me just let WeChat translate it because she tries to send me messages in English and they don't make any sense. I have no idea what she's saying. So
Yeah,
we
I've
got some
I've
work to do.
I've trained a couple parents where, they always say, like, I have such a hard time to communicate with you. And I'm like, send it to me in Chinese. Like
Right,
WeChat translates in the app now, like,
right.
come on,
It
or on my
it has
PC. Before it was
forever.
just the PC. Well,
Yeah.
before it was like the PC version only did it. And then,
Hmm.
you had to go back and forth. But I think it's both. So I was like, just put it there. I can translate. The translation for Chinese is like rock solid now. It's very
Right,
rare that it's off.
right, right.
And you can
And then
tell when it's off. You just kind of look at it and go, huh?
the two new cousins, Line will translate also, but it's not like WeChat. It's not right there, and it puts it right in the chat. It opens another window, and you have to. It doesn't work as well. But what the one of the
I
cousins'
like line.
moms, she created a group and added some AI translator person to it. Works much better.
I got that as well. I like the one where it pops out. I think it's a little bit it's pretty good actually. I like it a
Mhm.
lot. But yeah, I have another one where it's like they created a group and the AI translator's in there. It's kind of
Right,
funny.
right,
I was like, you do realize the app translates, right? Oh, this is
right.
just
I always tell parents when I can tell it's a struggle for them to send me messages in English. I just say, just send it in Chinese. I'll translate it. It's okay. It's okay.
yeah.
Especially when we're discussing payment information, I want that quick. I don't want, I don't want them to take 10 minutes. My experience has been when you start talking money, do it and do it fast.
Well, and yeah, exactly. And I think I got about 3 or 4 parents who don't even try to write in English anymore. It's just automatic
Right.
Chinese.
Right.
And a
It's
couple of them are in my WeChat group, a couple of them are in my WeChat, and a couple of them are in line. And I was just like, oh, choop, choop.
Speaking of payments, you got to make it easy for them. So, what are
Absolutely.
you doing on that front, Nicole?
I was gonna lead that. I was gonna put that as a segue to ending our podcast, saying next week we will talk in full about it. Cause yeah, I'm relaunching that. So I had realized, so the TCC Pay, the payment portal for teachers, because a lot of people struggle getting those payments, so you can get a payment link, because I can do Alipay, I can do WeChat Pay, I can do the Union credit card, and that they have in
Can
China.
you So the teachers that sign up, like the South African teachers, I've heard that getting payments to South African teachers is complicated.
It can be, and here in the Philippines as well. So,
Right.
I, American. So I have and I have a business in the U.S. So I have an LLC. So I was able to get the American version of Stripe, which is the one that allows me to get more of the payment options
Hmm.
that are restricted or not allowed in some of those countries. So while they can have Stripe in South Africa, they don't get the same payment options that I have. So I have opened up my Stripe as almost as a payment portal to help out teachers. And I realized when I had opened it up, because you were one of my test dummies and a couple other teachers, I got three of
Hmm.
y'all as my little test outs. Um, I had to fix some of the back end. It let me know that like the Alipay wasn't working for a while when I had taken
Right.
it before. Now it's all fixed. Boy, did that take a while to fix. And I've received payments from there. So now, what I'm doing is I have found out there's a couple different options. Some teachers will have to use just the link and it'll have to be routed through me. And other teachers will be able to do another connection system where it comes through me, but then it goes straight out to them. They don't have to wait
Hmm.
the extra step. And that will be on a case by case scenario because it depends on where you're at and what verifications that you have for your
Right.
teaching business. So there'll be two different levels of service. Those who can use the Connect system will just get the percentage. Those who have to go through the extra step because they don't qualify through the Stripe verification process, which means
Hmm.
I manually do those, pay the subscription fee and the percentage.
Hmm.
But I have decided that it needs to be extremely affordable. My
Right.
goal is not to rip off teachers. My goal is I make a bit because it's a business, but you're also getting the benefit of, easy transactions, immediate payments for receiving payments. Of course, you have to wait for it to process on my end. We have a schedule for payouts. Um, So you want that payment process to be as simplified as
Right.
humanly possible.
Quick,
It,
easy, very little interaction.
exactly. And that's kind of what I'm offering at that point.
Mhm,
And I'm really excited because I'm finishing up the back end this week. So our
mhm,
next podcast, I'll be able to show. I will have teacher financial pages where they can see where all of what they've received and where it's
mhm.
going. But I am not like some of the other payment portals. I will make you go through a verification process with me. It
Right.
won't be the same as a verification process with like Stripe and what that, because obviously you're not going to qualify. That's why you're using me. But I want to, I want to make sure that you're a real teacher, that you're really in the business, that that's what you're doing. So there's an application that I have to join. It's just it's a soft verification. I just make sure that you are who you say you are, not
Right.
a scammer. Hello. And then once you
Do people
once
have to submit like passports or
not
ID or anything? Yeah.
yes, but not in the pre-verification phase. The
Mhm.
pre-verification phase is I'm going to check your socials. I'm going to find out if you're a real person, right?
Right.
It's very simple. It's like a one-page fill out. That's all it is. After that, then I invite you. I have an onboarding process. It's like a little course. It's like I think a 7-part course where you fill out. You agree to the TCC pay process. You agree to the guidelines that we have, the rules,
Mhm.
and then you give me your IDs because obviously I'm going to need that to be able to send out your payments as well. You're going to give me your
Right.
payment portal. Like usually I use Wise. I prefer Wise, but
Mhm.
I do the others. But Wise is the best one. Um, and we set all that up, and you get the option of an actual teacher's page, like a forward-facing page for parents to see.
Mhm.
You can put your credentials in there, and it's all hosted on my TCC website, which is also part of my business. So you get a verification badge, and you also get another Notion page separate. So you have your website page for your parents to see, for
Mhm.
you, nobody else. And we also get your own financial page so you can see and track your own payments that you've received,
Mhm.
which makes that easier for you to understand how much money you've made, where it's coming from, where it's going out. So I've decided to kind of upgrade it for teachers a little bit that way.
Mhm.
You don't have to use the website page because you do get a link. You get your own separate payment link that's only associated for you. But it's nice to have where I allow you to put in like an intro and description and your background. You're allowed to add in some photos, a small video, intro video if you'd like. So
Mhm.
it my goal is to give you the opportunity to create that bridge of trust with the parent.
Right.
Some of them, they're a little iffy sometimes. And if they can see something that shows, oh, okay, this is who this person is, and,
Right.
they can see an intro video and you can just give them one link and off they go. I do know
Right.
that my link does work in China too, by the way.
Good. Good.
Yep, yep, yep. So, anyways, that was a little bit of a longer spiel than I was planning on. But next
I,
week, I should
next
have it
week, yeah.
all.
Why don't you walk us through the whole thing
Mm,
next week? Like share
yeah,
your
that's
screen and do
that's the
stuff.
plan. That's the
Cool.
plan. That's the plan.
Cool.
I'm excited because I realized it took me a while to kind of design wise figure out how I was going to put
Mhm.
it together. I was like, I'm missing the whole back end part. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And
Anyways.
other thing we did, we looked into, Nicole and I talked to a developer creating a, uh, about him creating an LMS type thing. And we haven't talked about it since then, but I kind of think, eh, I think there's enough of those out there right now. And
There are, you know what I think? I think we should talk about this next week. Let's talk about this after the podcast so we
okay,
can prepare for next week.
all right,
I do think there's an option here for us, and I think you guys will be excited about it maybe next week when we come back to it.
okay.
I'm gonna leave it there as open ended.
It's the to be continued cliffhanger that we all hate
Yeah,
on TV
pins
shows.
and needles, pins and needles. There we go.
I used to hate that when I was a kid. I'd be watching the $6 Million Man. It was the shark. They had like a 2 or 3 episode shark one, and they would always to be continued right at the best
Right?
part. It used to piss me off.
All right. So, are we good?
We're good.
All right.
Later.
Well, later, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Is
Peace.
this turned off just by stopping it? Maybe. Oh, there it is.